Good morning, everyone. I'd like to introduce two very important people in this field. We just had a very interesting conversation. To my immediate right is Joël Palix, who just flew in from Paris. He is 10 years with THIERRY MUGLER, president of fashion and fragrance, but he also has another job title, which is president of perfume for CLARINS, which has a number of different brands. And then next to him is Stephen Lashever, who is the, should I say, head of endorsements for CAA? Is that correct?
Co-head.
Co-head, okay. So each of these gentlemen is going to give a very interesting presentation about celebrity, endorsement, and then we will have a conversation about it. So Joël, do you want to start?
Sure. Good morning. So I'm going to speak to you this morning about the relationship between brands and celebrities. And the brand I've chosen within our portfolio is THIERRY MUGLER. So maybe we can have the logo of THIERRY MUGLER. Next slide. Yes. So you know THIERRY MUGLER is a designer, but is mostly famous for fragrances. Being in Los Angeles today, I thought the obvious choice for speaking about a product was Angel, of course. So let's look at the logo of Angel. Here. Do you know Angel? Angel is a well-known fragrance. It's our biggest line in our portfolio. It's a very unique fragrance because it is successful both in the United States. It ranks number 7 in the United States, and very successful in Europe. It ranks number 3 amongst women fragrances. Let's look at the product. A very iconic fragrance. It was created in 1992, and it has this unique star-shaped bottle. It's well known for being the first gourmand fragrance with very distinctive notes of vanilla, chocolate, and patchouli. So, let's look at the next slide. This is a new Angel. After 20 years on the market, it was time to create something new. We wanted to reach a younger audience, and we developed an eau de toilette on Angel with this whirling comet, a new beautiful bottle, a more fruity, powdery fragrance, reaching a younger audience. So when we decided to launch this new product, we also decided it was time to renew the communication on Angel. And this is what I'm going to talk to you about this morning. How, knowing we would be launching this eau de toilette, how did we choose a celebrity? How did we do the campaign? And what have been the results? Previously, the image of Angel, the face of Angel, was quite an angelic face, and we can look at her. Naomi Watts, which we signed with Naomi Watts in 2008, and everybody knows Naomi. She's a talented actress, childlike face, very nice, very cute, very angelic. And you will see how we played it in the advertising, the previous campaign. She's the heroine of fairy tale. And you can see how we have used the image of Naomi to really express the beautiful side of Angel. But maybe too nice. Angel is not only being nice, it's also being sensual. There is a darker side to the fragrance. And we thought that we were missing a bit of sensuality in that visual. So when we looked for a new face for Angel, we worked with some people in LA, in fact. And the choice narrowed to one new face. glamorous actress, and her name is Eva Mendes. Eva Mendes lives in LA. She's a glamorous actress. I think she has more international scope than Naomi Watts. She is well known in Anglo-Saxon markets, US of course, but also she has this Latin flavor that is very important for us to reach a more Latin audience. And she's even known in Asia and of course in Europe. So a good choice for us. But of course we also looked at the qualities of Eva. And Eva, she is sexy. I think that's the way we could define Eva. She has this incredible love factor with the media, which is so important nowadays if you want to do PR. She was able to express this sensuality and new energy we wanted for Eva. So let's look at the visuals that we did. We did two visuals, one for the eau de parfum. You see it. Both visuals were shot by Ines and Vinod, the famous duo photographers. You see Eva dancing in a constellation of stars. She has this vibrant energy and this sensual look. And then the next visual is for the eau de toilette. It's more evocative of a fairy wheel, and it's a more carefree and younger attitude to Angel. But the most important part of our communication is the TV campaign, and we're going to discover the TV campaign. There is an element of surprise in the TV campaign. Pay attention to the voice, to the song, and maybe you will recognize somebody. So let's look at the film.
Angel, la nouvelle eau de toilette, Thierry Mugler.
So the voice, of course, you might have recognized it. It's Eva Mendes herself who decided, along the creative process, in fact, to be the voice of Angel and to sing this Windmills of Your Mind beautiful song. The concept behind the film was the dream machine. We wanted to express the ideas that when you wear Angel, you are transported into another world, your imagination is captured, and all your dreams can happen. So this very concept of dream machine, we applied it also not only on TV, but to an interactive application. It was available on iPhone, iPad, and of course on your computer. Here the concept of dream machine was a bit different. You would select 5 words, 5 poetic words that would define your dream, and immediately the application would give you a completely unique personalized video that is a description of your dream, and you could send that to your girlfriend, your lover, your wife, whoever you love, just to send a message of Angel to your preferred person. So we had print, TV, and interactive application. The whole campaign started in September. The TV campaign in the US will start in spring, but I can tell you already the results. Clearly, Eva helped us a lot. We had anywhere between 20, 30, 40% increase in sales since September. Quite a remarkable achievement because Angel is a very mature line and a big business. So we are very, very pleased. And I must say that the collaboration with Eva has been just perfect. She's a very professional girl. She has the energy and this connection with the brand. And we are very, very happy with this collaboration. Voilà, thank you.
Stephen, we're going to turn it over to you.
How beautiful is that? She must also have an incredible agent, by the way. That would be me. But also, you should never tell an agent that you have 40% increase in sales, because she's going to get a 40% increase in her next deal.
You know, you can pay for quality. And if everybody's happy, everybody's happy.
I'm just kidding. But if, honestly, Ava and that film and that relationship is one of the examples that I would have absolutely chosen to speak about, because that collaboration in that film is an unbelievable example of what a relationship should be, and the end result is remarkable. And it's something that she's incredibly proud of, and as her representatives, the whole agency is incredibly proud of as well. And we're all really excited for when that breaks here in the United States in terms of the television campaign. So we're really looking forward to it. It's really remarkable. But first of all, I'm really pleased and I'm grateful that Michael and the staff at Le Book asked me to join this panel and join Joelle. So thank you very much. But I'm here to talk about Nicole Kidman. And we all know Nicole Kidman is a global fashion icon. She's a wife to an insanely talented recording artist and Keith Urban. She's a mother of 4. But of course, everything that drives what I'm going to talk to you about today is Nicole's ability as a gifted actress. Has been nominated for 8 Golden Globe Awards. She's won 4 of them. Nominated for 3 Academy Awards. She's won 1 for The Hours back in 2003. Shortly thereafter, winning the Academy Award, we concluded her negotiation for Chanel, which to me was the gold standard as it relates to endorsements with a top-tier actress. That opened up the floodgates for a lot of other top-tier celebrities to embark in this world, and it proved that once you marry the right brand with the right celebrity surrounded by the right creative elements, anything can happen. And that imagery today, like I said, is still considered to be the gold standard. But I'm not here to talk about Chanel. I'm here to talk about Nicole's partnership with Omega. And those conversations started midstream during her relationship with Chanel. And from Omega's perspective, they expected that relationship to unfold in a very similar capacity as the Chanel relationship was, in terms of it being global, it consisting of television, print, and an all-encompassing, well-rounded 360 relationship. But from Nicole's perspective, from our perspective as her representatives, we were hesitant because she was in fear of overexposure at that time. So as we went back to Omega, we created restrictions. We wanted to make sure that it was the right time for her, yet we didn't want to not embrace that relationship. So we started off with a very limited geographical relationship, and we started off in Asia. And it was a 3-year commencement. We're with print only. We wanted to basically dip our toes in the water and start it off in a limited capacity and make sure that Nicole was protected, yet we wanted to make sure that the brand, whose real stronghold for themselves in terms of sales, they were accomplishing the goals that they needed to. So we started that, and we wanted to make sure also, as Nicole's relationship with Chanel, we didn't know what the future was going to lie. So as we continued with that, and we decided at one point, whether it was Chanel or Nicole, we decided the time was right that we were going to separate, and midterm within the Omega deal, we decided, okay, now that overexposure was no longer an issue, we were going to renegotiate our terms, and because we had built a trust factor with Omega, they treated her well. We knew that from a perspective of advertising materials, that she was surrounded with top-tier photographers, and on an appearance front, she was treated with the utmost respect, and it was something that from something in terms of appearances where Nicole had never experienced, that she was protected from every step of the way, whether it be an approval process, from the aesthetics of what she was embarking on, from literally from an itinerary, that they were going to treat her with the utmost respect, that she was going to be absolutely treated with respect, dignity, and the way that she would be in any other aspect of her career. So for her, as the Chanel relationship ended, it was completely organic for us to say, all right, this is going to be our anchor relationship. So we decided, let's expand. So then we took the relationship from an Asia-specific deal to a global relationship without the United States and Australia. We still didn't want to embark in a US or Australian geographical deal, but we decided, okay, let's treat them the way that they treated us and see where it takes us. So from that point forward, Nicole, who still hadn't really understood
doing the usual thing to my hair. Who in the world do I think that I am? I suppose it depends on who I believe.
Wow. Hearing all of this brings up to me the fact that I was working at W Magazine starting in 1992, and that when I brought up to them, maybe we should put an actress on the cover, they balked. There were no actresses in ad campaigns whatsoever. And I remember when Jennifer Aniston was on Friends, and she was very famous for her hair, and it came out that she did a commercial in Japan for shampoo, and it was a scandal. You know, it's amazing to see how far it's gone in 20 years. How did that change, that suddenly it was not only just okay for actresses to do this, but really desirable?
in terms of the international
No,
commercial work?
yes, like America and international.
Well, I think, first of all, it was always desirable to have the international commercial work, right? So we call it creative freedom. That's sort of how we've coined it. There's always been a desire for top-tier talent to take advantage of the international endorsement work because theoretically, no one ever saw it.
Theoretically.
Right? Theoretically. Those days are long gone. Right? Now we do a deal in Japan where you can see it on TMZ.com that night. Right? And it's shot in some distant territory. But at the end of the day, it's certainly not based on a media buy, but it's somebody on their handheld iPhone who's taking footage. But
Right.
our clients still utilize international commercial work as just that. It's a way to offset their income so they can not have to necessarily take a feature film role or a television role that isn't what they're looking for creatively.
Right, that's interesting. Gives them options. And how does it help a brand to have a famous actress as opposed to a model?
Well, just to go back on your previous question and to follow on your second question, the relationship between a fragrance and a celebrity is not new. Marilyn Monroe and Chanel No. 5 is a famous story, and maybe that was the first celebrity endorsed product. Mugler in the 90s signed a project with Jerry Hall, and Jerry Hall, the connection between Jerry Hall and Thierry Mugler is also well known. So it's nothing new, but it's getting bigger. And it's not only doing an advertising, it's a complete project that you do with a celebrity. In the case of Angel and Eva Mendes, it went as far as singing for the film, and also doing some projects online, social media. So it's a global collaboration, and that's why you're right in saying that there needs to be a sharing of common values, because for people to get to work together several years, you need to feel good. You need to be happy to do it on both sides.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, Stephen, that you kept using the word partnership. It's not just an employer contract, it's real interaction and symmetry. So when it comes to creating these partnerships, let's talk about going from the concept, in your case, of a campaign to actual creation of it and it being in the public eye.
All right. In our case, in the case of Mugler, Thierry Mugler, the man behind the brand, is our artistic director. So he's very involved in any project we do, from choosing a celebrity to inspiring any communication that will be used for the product. So in the case of Angel, we talked during months and months about who would be the next face of Angel and how we could have this connection with the new product that was coming. You would think we have a big choice, but in fact you don't, because if you narrow the list of available stars that have a connection with a brand, in fact you end up with only a few names, and then you have to choose from those few names, and that's where we get the help of partner. In our case, we worked with Prima Talent, who is in the room here, and they helped us narrow that choice and end up with finalizing a negotiation with Eva Mendes. So that's the choice of celebrity, and then you need to choose the team, the creative team that will do the visual, that will do the film. And once again, we were talking about partnership. More and more celebrities are asking to be involved in the choice of who is making the film, because it's their image which is at stake. And that's exactly what happened with Eva, and we agreed on Bailey Walsh, but that was a lengthy process of choosing the right filmmaker. Because more and more, it's not only a commercial, it's almost a real film, you know, it's a short film that you can see on TV, but that you can see also on internet in a longer version.
Fragrance.
Okay. Okay.
The contract is clearly a fragrance contract.
Okay.
So her obligations are on fragrance.
Right.
As far as what she wears in some functions, in some events, of course, when we were doing an event purely related to the fragrance,
I see.
it was only natural that she would wear Mugler, but
Right.
we have no fashion contract with Eva Mendes.
I understand. It's very interesting, though, when you
Is that all right?
see,
Is that okay?
You answered it perfectly.
for instance, Charlize Theron doing Dior fragrance, but Charlize Theron wears Dior about 92% of the time. So you have to wonder, is she getting paid to wear Dior? I mean, I would wear Dior if I could. And the same thing with Nicole Kidman. She wore Chanel a great, great deal. So that's obviously no one's going to address. Okay, so when we're talking about the campaign and the creative, where does this idea start? I mean, you have a team of people who work in advertising who come up with these things?
In our case, we do not have any advertising agency. We do everything internally, which is not the case of many fragrances. Thierry Mugler inspires us with some ideas. Then I have an image director internally that is responsible for the whole campaign. His name is Christophe de la Taillade, and he has been the man behind the making of the film, clearly. My advice or my experience is to have not too many people around the project. You know, the more focused it is, and the better. Even me, as president of the brand, I get involved, but I try to give as much freedom as possible to my creative team, because a good fragrance, a good commercial is the work of a few people.
Interesting. Stephen, do you have clients that you represent at CAA for endorsements, and it's great if you get the great photographer and beautiful imagery for their career as well, for their acting career, I assume. So do you sit down with someone like Eva Mendes and Nicole Kidman and seek out these things and look for brands? How does that work?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, generally speaking, there's a variety of different ways that the transactions occur. I mean, sometimes a brand will have someone specifically in mind, but a lot of times, our clients have either a desire to enter into a specific category, and we'll go out to all the different brands in that category on their behalf, or they have a specific idea for something. But it works, it's incoming, outgoing, so it works both ways.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
In the case of Eva Mendes and Angel, it's very interesting. You said sales went up something like 30 to 40%. Why is that? Is it the sexy element? What happened there?
It's a combination of three things. First, we spend more money in media. So, of course, if you spend more money in media, you have more sales. You need to, because or else you're never going to pay for your investment. Then you have the Eva factor. What percentage of the total, I don't know. And in our case, we also benefited from launching a new product. So when you're launching a new product, you are adding another level of sales. So it's a combination of the three. I don't know what is what, but we had an interesting experience, because in Europe we did TV, print. In US we did only print in the autumn, and I could see that the result in Europe was better. So clearly, the more you invest in media with a celebrity like Eva, and the more everything works together and benefits the brand. So yes, so far so good, but it's a 3 years, at least 3 years also, contract, and it needs to work all along the time of the contract, and it's up to us to make it work.
And you make this contract before you know that it may or may not work.
Yes, well, that's my job, is taking a risk in launching a fragrance, because you have the cost of Eva, you have the cost of the campaign, you have all the other marketing costs of launching a fragrance, and also you bet on a person. And in our case, we bet on being able to to bring Eva to the kind of image that is compatible with Mugler. Mugler is very specific in terms of image. The film, as you can see, is not a film that could be signed by many brands. And this is where we can really be good at, is taking all the qualities of Eva and merging them with what Mugler is about. And it's a bet, clearly.
In the case of Nicole Kidman and Omega, and it's interesting because usually these relationships are, what, about 2 years? To have 7 years is significant. Why does that work so well?
Well, I think in their case, I mean, you'd have to ask them specifically, but they don't think they get the maximum value out of the equity of the ambassador over a 1 or 2 year period.
Interesting.
So, which, in our case also, on behalf of our clients, in the luxury sector or in the beauty sector, we very rarely will suggest to our clients, I was going to utilize the term allow, but suggest to our clients that they do 1 year deals. It doesn't make sense. And most brands agree.
I'd like to add that the production costs of the film are quite high, so you need to amortize them over several years.
That's very interesting. You can't use the film for any short duration or it's not economically viable. Yeah, people don't think about that. What happens when it doesn't work, Stephen? I mean, you don't have to tell me, obviously, you can't, of examples where the celebrity and the brand don't get together and make magic, but how do you deal with that?
There have been cases where it doesn't work. I mean, there's contractually what happens. Our clients get paid and the advertiser doesn't run the material.
Oh, so some of these campaigns hit the editing room floor then. Very interesting.
Sorry.
Well, we only see the ones that work, obviously. It would be interesting to see the ones that don't work. How has the internet and the online world changed all this association of the brand and the celebrity?
It's more and more important. In fact, it's almost becoming the core of the campaign nowadays. The difficulty is that with internet changing so fast, it's not so easy to plan in advance the type of applications, the type of project, the type of online media campaign you will do. And yet, you've got to agree on it while signing with the celebrity. So that's where the partnership that we were talking about plays a part, is that both parties need to remain flexible and agree at a later stage what will be the interactive applications that you can develop. That's one thing. The second thing is more and more celebrities and brands are banking on the social media goodwill that there is around a celebrity. More and more celebrities have a Facebook page with hundreds of thousands of fans. And the question is, how do you leverage that audience without being too commercial? Because, of course, the celebrity doesn't want to upset the fans by being too commercial. So it's a subtle balance to find, but it's a very promising one, because when you're signing with a celebrity, you're also signing for an audience of fans.
Before I answer, I want to go back to the previous question, because I don't want to come off as being too crass, because the reality is our clients don't want the brands to fail either. So the reality, if there is a situation where our clients can help a brand achieve a situation where they can rectify whether it's an editing situation or it's a reshoot.
Reshoots.
I mean, they're 9 out of 10 times, they're happy to go in and try to fix something.
Sure.
but they don't want to be part of something that's considered failure either. So,
No,
for clarity purposes. In relationship to the internet and social media, I agree with Joel 100%. Specifically with social media, none of our clients can risk jeopardizing that direct relationship between themselves and their fan base on a social media front with contrived messaging. They understand completely the world has changed, and it's a really important element of every campaign. Some form of social media, certainly elements on the internet. I mean, it's here to stay, it's not going away. I used to be that dinosaur that used to deny all elements of the internet and just say no thank you and let's move on. Those days for myself, long gone. But there are ways to achieve smart, creative ways that are incredibly beneficial for both parties.
We talked about this before, about a sort of entertainment content that I suppose, I don't know if you can refer to it as advertorial, but it's very editorial in feeling, but its purpose is advertising.
I think a brand should view itself as a content producer beyond being a product producer. In the case of Angel, that worked beautifully when Eva, on her own initiative, proposed to be the voice of Windmills of Your Mind. Because then we had a wonderful story, a legitimate story, a spontaneous story that we could tell. And we did this beautiful film that I recommend you go and see on internet, where you see Eva rehearsing for the song, learning to sing the song. And it's a wonderful material. It's very emotional, very spontaneous, and here you can touch a chord with the public, and this is the kind of content that Eva can share with her fans in a very, very legitimate way.
And this is on YouTube, and everyone
Yes, it's
can
on
see
YouTube.
Stephen, did this make you nervous that she would do this and that we don't know her as a singer, that's not her image necessarily, that this could be something that would not work?
Absolutely not. She knows that she has the ability to do it. She would have never offered to do it. It was her suggestion to do it. I mean, and you should all take a look at it. It is remarkable, and it really is organic, and it feels so right, and it's such an amazing piece of content. It is the perfect use of what we're describing in relationship to the internet and the use of social media as it relates to campaigns
Fascinating.
and content.
I think I'm getting a look that says to wrap it up. Yes?
Any questions for the audience?
Yeah, to be honest, it was really with Ava's manager, David Seltzer, and the original conversations that it was suggested. And I mean, I think it was embraced immediately when it was suggested. And
Yeah, I got a call from my image director. He was working with Eva, doing, how do you say, when you have to check the outfit, taking measurements for
A fitting.
Fitting, thank you. Doing the fitting of Eva, and he mentioned to Eva that we were thinking of Windmills of Your Mind as the song for the TV commercial. We were negotiating the rights for doing this song, and we were wondering which version to take, whether to take the Michel Legrand version or not. And she said, "Oh, I love this song. This is one of my favorite songs. I could even sing it myself," she said. And then, they started laughing about it, and, from just a joke, it became reality. And also there was a positive energy of everybody to make it happen. I think it's not only agreeing on contract, it's having the right energy.
Any other questions?
What kind of research or analytics are typically involved in putting together a deal or considering a deal between a celebrity and a brand? What are the factors that you typically look at to evaluate the fit?
That would be,
Okay. Of course, we look at figures like, cover page, Facebook fans, Twitter. We try to measure what can be the aura of a celebrity. But more importantly, the feeling that there is a fit is what drives the decision. So I don't think we are very much driven by market research. It's a more intuitive decision. And also, as I explained before, there aren't many top celebrities available. You have a league of top celebrities, and very quickly you're talking of people that are not that well known worldwide. In our case, perfume business, it's a very worldwide business. So if you really want to leverage a worldwide name, there aren't many, because people that are known both in Europe and US, these are the main markets for fragrances, there aren't many.
And I guess on the agency side, is there anything that you're trying to do when you proactively seek deals to make sure you're knocking on the right doors, or there's the right kind of fit between a brand and a celebrity?
oftentimes it's based on tier of distribution and aligning it with the right talent. So if we know where we're targeting, based on where the talent wants to be. So if it's someone who wants to be in luxury, we're going after those brands that are distributed more at the department store level rather than a brand that's distributed at mass. And also based on historical creative. So, and we'll also, when we sit with clients, we're asking them about campaigns that they can envision themselves being a part of. So we try to determine it based on a set of criteria more on feel. Again, it's more about aesthetics and more about creative than anything. For us, it's really, as we determine in terms of criteria, the deal is usually, I don't want to say at the bottom, but it's creative, then brand, and then the deal. Because if the two aren't appropriate, the deal is insignificant. It's still the perception of accessibility. So it's, if you're a feature film star, you still don't want to have that kind of residual imagery in the marketplace. You still want to have a little bit of distance. It's a little bit more challenging to ask a consumer to spend $12 on a movie ticket if you're constantly on a television commercial every, every pod.
Didn't Cher find that out the hard way?
No comment.
Infomercials, yes.
Times are changing, though. I mean, obviously times are changing. But again, creative, brand, and deal. I mean, if you're with an amazing brand with incredible creative, I believe there's no harm. And I think our clients believe there's no harm.
Any more questions?
Thank you all for coming. Thank you, gentlemen. That was fascinating.
Thank you.